word that there is an unidentified aircraft on final. Yes, it's the IG's aircraft. I'm speaking with Lieutenant Colonel Harms, Chief of the Command Post. Sir, what do you think of the IG's landing? Yes, the IG has landed, and here comes the team now. What an unusual appearance. The team seems to be discussing something among themselves. Let's listen in.
We come walk down the street, the funniest person, everyone we meet.
I'm now reporting from the command post where we're waiting for the beginning of the battle staff briefing. The meeting is held up awaiting the arrival of the vice commander. Here he comes now. Colonel Tynan, now that the IG has arrived, do you have any thought should the wing fail to pass the ORI? Colonel Ramsey, how do you feel about that comment? Colonel Jordan, what do you plan to do to the crews if they fail the ORI?
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
I'm now speaking to Colonel Doran. Sir, what is your opinion of the ORI? I understand they've just sounded the klaxon. Let's switch to our roving reporter on the flight line.
This is Dick Hertz reporting from just outside the alert facility, where the crews are just now responding to the klaxon.
She's real fine, my 409. She's real fine, my 409, my 409.
There seems to be a problem. I understand one of the ACs is not with his crew. Here he comes now. Captain Hariz, where were you?
Splish, splash, I was taking a bath.
Captain Smith, we've received word that one of your crew members was hurt while rushing to the aircraft. Can you fill us in?
We're back live at the command post. It seems they're having problem communicating with the aircraft. Let's listen in to what they're saying. We're now speaking to the Inspector General. Sir, how long do you plan to let the generation go on?
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're going to rock around the clock tonight.
And now we'll pause for a short period while we move our coverage from the command post to the bomb squadron. Here we are at the bomb squadron. Surprisingly, no one except the operations officer is here. Sir, you've been on the phone for over 2 hours. Where is everybody? Here comes a crew member now. It's Captain Hildebrand. Sir, can we have a word with you? Why are you so late coming into the squadron? Ladies and gentlemen, I understand we've run out of time, so we'll return tomorrow for our on-the-spot coverage of the Griffiss Air Force Base, ORI. live with our coverage of the ORI at Griffiss Air Force Base. The crews have just had their pre-takeoff briefings and now are awaiting their last-minute instructions from their commanders. First, to address the troops will be Lieutenant Colonel Lazarus, the squadron commander. We understand that Colonel Tynan is depending heavily on this ORI to make general. Let's listen to his last words to the crews.
Can you make others change in me? For the truth, you are my destiny.
The wing commander is now going to introduce the DO. A hush has now come over the briefing room as Colonel Jordan approaches the podium.
Now, I want you to remember that no bastard ever won a war by dying for his country. He won it by making the other poor dumb bastard die for his country. All real Americans love the sting of battle. Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I wouldn't give a hoot in hell for a man who lost and laughed, because the very thought of losing is hateful to America. Some of you boys, I know, are wondering whether or not you'll chicken out under fire. Don't worry about it. I can assure you that you will all do your duty. Now, there's one thing that you men will be able to say when you get back home. And you may thank God for it. You won't have to say, well, I shoveled shit in Louisiana. All right, now you sons of bitches, you know how I feel. That's all.
After those inspiring words, let's see if we can get a word with some of the crew members. Captain Chapman, how did you prepare last night for this flight? Did you receive any last-minute instructions from the DO?
Children behave. That's what they say when we're together. And watch how you play.
Lieutenant Ron Gibson, how do you feel about flying with your old AC, Dick Helms?
No, he isn't much in the eyes of the world, but he is the world to me.
Captain Lanier, I understand that you aren't flying the ORI again. What's your explanation for that?
I'm a nut. I'm a nut.
The inspiring words of the DO still fresh in their minds, the crews are now lining up to depart the briefing room. Let's move now to our roving reporter on the flight line, Dick Hertz. Dick, how are things going on the flight line?
Things look pretty good down here, Walter. The crews are about ready to strike their pre-flight.
That's great, Dick. Can you get a word with one of the crew members?
Yes, I can, Walter. I'm in the cockpit of aircraft 601 with Captain Waylon Shook, commander of the lead aircraft. Captain Shook, how does the aircraft look?
I'm not bragging, so don't put me down. But I've got the fastest set of wheels in town. With something done, talk to me.
foresee any problems with an on-time launch?
It don't matter to me.
I understand you have a very young gunner. Did you have any problems working him into the crew?
He was lonely, now he's better. He's like all of us, except his bed is wetter.
Let me move downstairs and get a word with the radar navigator. He seems to be having some problem with the equipment.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no.
Ah, looks like a serious problem. Do you have any thoughts on repairing your equipment?
I had a hammer in the morning.
Walter, they're getting ready to start their engines now. I'm going to move outside the aircraft.
Clear prop, start 4.
Looks like a good start, Walter. Back to you.
I'm in the tower observing the takeoff. And here comes the first radio call from the lead aircraft.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again.
Let's see if we can get hold of Dick Hertz in the lead aircraft. Dick, are you there?
Yes, Walter. Let me see if I can get a word with the pilot. Excuse me. Excuse me. Captain? Captain, how's the aircraft handling?
This is Walter Klondike back in the tower with Colonel Tynan. Sir, do you have any words of encouragement for that crew that seems to be having some problems? Colonel Jordan is also in the tower. Sir, we understand that you are very concerned with crew coordination and demand that your people perform as a team rather than as individuals and so forth. Could you elaborate on that, please?
This individuality stuff is a bunch of crap. The bilious bastards who wrote that stuff about individuality for the Saturday Evening Post don't know anything more about real battle than they do about fornicating.
Thank you, sir. And now back to Dick Hertz in the lead aircraft.
Captain Shook, we just got word the last aircraft got off the ground successfully. Do you have any comment?
Yeah, we definitely got the front door, good buddy. Mercy sakes alive, looks like we've got us a convoy.
We're moving into air refueling now, Walter. The radar navigator is coordinating the rendezvous with the tanker. The pilot seems to be having some trouble moving into the contact position. He appears to be talking to himself. Walter, this aerial refueling is really something. Excuse me, Captain Shook. Does it usually take this long to get the gas?
I guess I should have stayed in bed, my pillow wrapped around my head. This just doesn't seem to be my day.
Well, Walter, that's the situation up here. Back to you.
This is Walter Klondike, back with the Squadron Operations Officer, Colonel Lewis. Sir, what do you think will happen to the radar who drops the worst bombs? Let's listen in now as the first aircraft approaches the target.
Walter, this is Dick. The radar navigator seems to be having some problem finding the target. Let me see if I can get a word with him. He seems to be awfully excited. Just exactly what is the problem?
And each town looks the same to me, the movies and the factories.
I have Captain Pappas on the radio now. Sir, we understand you turned right instead of left at the end of the first bomb run. Do you have any comment on that?
That's the first mistake.
Ah, yes, folks, this is what it's all about. The first scores are now coming in. Let's see how the bombs were.
We are 1,000 miles away.
Walter, if I can break in here, we're on our navigation leg and seem to be some distance off course. Nav, what's the problem?
They call me the wanderer. Yeah, the wanderer. I roam around.
Well then, can you tell me exactly where we are?
Lord, I'm one, Lord, I'm two, Lord, I'm three, Lord, I'm four, Lord, I'm 500 miles from my home.
Thanks for that on-the-spot report from the aircraft, Dick. The planes are now coming in for their landing, and I see Captain W.W. Rotor just touching down.
Bouncy, 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 bouncy.
Here we are at the bomb squadron, and things don't really look too well. The wing commander has the scores and looks rather upset. Sir, is there any problem?
Well, let me tell you that it's so bad. It makes me feel so bad.
And here comes Colonel Fred Lockwood, D.O. Emeritus and tree farmer extraordinary. Sir, what do you think of these bad scores? Just a minute, folks. There seems to have been some mistake. They're now giving Colonel Tynan the revised scores. Sir, how does it look now? Well, folks, this concludes yet another successful ORI at Griffiss Air Force Base. We'll say goodbye now as Colonel Jordan, in the enduring SAC tradition, ensures the crews that he'll consider a temporary reduction in their ration of mandatory punishment.